I used to absolutely adore Blue's Clues. It's one of those shows that I used to watch every single day. And I recently subscribed to Paramount on Amazon, and I realized that there were some very much more recent Blue's Clues shows and also a couple of films. And one of the films sounded rather delightful and right up my street. So I thought I'd give it a watch and see what it's like. This is Blue's Big City Adventure. And I will kind of discuss it in two ways. One, I'll discuss it as what the nostalgia is like and does it feel as nostalgic as if I were to watch a classic episode, and also what I feel like it's like for today's audience. So this was released last year, 2022. It's directed by Matt Stwasky, and it stars Joshua De La Cruz as Josh. And Josh has received an invitation from Rainbow Puppy, who kind of looks like Blue but is rainbow coloured. And I have to say, love the character design, absolutely gorgeous. We'll talk more about the CGI characters in a moment. And Josh receives his invitation to go to Broadway in New York to audition. And he's very excited to do this, and he gets ready to leave Storybook Land and goes to New York. And while he's there, he loses his notebook and he doesn't have the address of the theatre. And it's a race against time as he has to try and find these different Blues Clues around New York City to try and find where the theatre is and get to his audition for 3 o'clock. Will he make it on time? I'm not going to say, of course, because that's the entire point of the narrative. But there are two kind of main, maybe three kind of messages here. The first is that people will help you when you need help. There are all kinds of characters helping Josh to get to where he needs to be. And that's obviously a beautiful message, everybody coming together with one common goal. There's also a message about nervousness. Josh is obviously very nervous about his audition, and there are various tactics that he employs to try and calm his nerves. And the third message, of course, is about dreaming, and dreaming big, and not letting anything get in your way, which is always a really wonderful message. So the narrative itself is quite nice. I think it's unpredictable. Just as I thought they were going to solve some problems, something else comes along and gets in the way. So it's very intense, a lot more than I thought. And I think for young children watching it, it can be a real emotional roller coaster, which is often a good sign of a good narrative that takes them on a real journey. With regards to the representation of New York, I have never seen such an accurate representation as when Josh first lands in New York and there are pretzel sellers and souvenir sellers and basically everybody yelling and shouting over each other, and I just thought, yeah, that sounds about right. And the musical aspect of it is really good. There are some really engaging, catchy songs in this that I thought were something that if you listen to a couple of times, they'll probably be stuck in your head for a very long time. There are some recognizable songs, but slightly modernized. For example, the We Just Got a Letter song, which is from the original series, is in this but slightly different. I don't know if it's slightly different just for this film or if the more recent series also has a tweak to it. Feel free to let me know if you do know. But there are recognizable elements. And that, of course, takes me to the whole nostalgic aspect. Because there are recognizable songs, that's a good start. Blue looks adorable. And although it's obviously much sharper animation quality, he actually looks like he has fur now rather than being made from block colours. It still feels like Blue's Clues, and it still feels like the same character, and sounds like the same character as well. And the same goes for the other characters that are in it as well. We have Mr. Pepper and Mrs. Salt, or the other way on, Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper, and Slippery Soap and various other characters who, once in New York, do look CGI rather than 2D animation. And again, although it is different, they're still recognizable. The notebook still looks the same, the chunky crayon still looks the same. So it does allow me to feel that beautiful nostalgia from a show that I used to love, but with slightly more updated twists to it, which I think works very well. So if you grew up watching Blue's Clues, and particularly you enjoy musicals, I think that's quite important, because it is very much a cheesy musical. Blue's Big City Adventure is definitely worth watching. For today's audience, for anybody who perhaps didn't grow up with the original series, I think the characters are likeable, they're often relatable, I think it's got several very good messages in about teamwork and friendship, helping others, how to calm yourself down when you're nervous, and ultimately about dreaming big and holding on to that dream no matter what. It's very well put together. I love watching Blue interact with Josh because the live action and animation go well, really effectively. I have to say, I thought it was well worth the watch, and I rather enjoyed it.